What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, another bullish video for you. I know there's been a lot lately, but I am feeling it, and I just want to speak my mind, speak my truth, right? So this is what it is, and before anything, none of this is financial advice. I am not telling anybody to go out and buy anything. I am not saying where the market will or will not go. All I'm saying is that when you look at a project compared to many other projects in the space, there are certain things that you cannot deny, and then there are also going to be X factors that we'll talk about. So nothing is guaranteed. This is not financial advice. This is just my opinion, some random musician on the internet, and that is it, right? So take this all with a grain of salt. But let's talk about Splintershards, SPS, and the game Splinterlands that they belong to. Now you can see here, I'm in the top gaming tokens by market cap, and I had to go to the second page just to find Splintershards or SPS. It's sitting at currently 1,066, or at least that's the rank, so it's not even in the top 1,000 coins. And you can see, even though it's having actually a decent week here, up 14% on the 7-day, you can see that our market cap is still or around $8 million, right? That's it. That's all SPS, right? Now, what you also have to consider is that there is a market cap around all assets within the game too, and that should be considered, although that's not being considered here, right? But then again, every game has a ton of assets. You could look at the entire kind of portfolio of a game or a project and consider the market cap. But if we're just talking about tokens, and that's what I'm focusing on here today, you can see that we have $8 million in terms of market cap, and I believe that that is actually quite undervalued compared to a lot of the other games, a lot of the other projects in the gaming space. So let's actually take a quick look over here. I'm going to go back to page 1, if it'll let me. There we go. We're going to go back to page 1. And I want to show you, obviously, some of the top games here, some that I've already even started covering on this channel as well. But, or I've spoken with other folks who are playing and covering the games. You know, Axie Infinity is still, one of the darlings that broke out last time. This is sitting at 700 million, right, of a market cap, which again, that's kind of crazy to me because that's literally 100x where Splinterlands currently is from a market cap perspective, right? So this is just the AXS token. You also have Gala sitting at 578 million. You have Ronin, which is the chain that Axie is on, or the system that Axie is on. You have Prime, another one of the games that I really enjoy. That's sitting at 340 million, right? 337 to be specific. Illuvium sitting at 200 million. I think that's good for now, right? Pixels, another one here, sitting at over 100 million. So what am I trying to get at here? Well, SPS, Splinterlands, is a microcap token, right? It's so far down on the list that therefore the upside potential is tremendous. Now, is that going to happen? Absolutely not. I have no idea, right? I have no idea. My whole thing with this is that a rising tide raises all ships. And if any one of these games blows up, right, in the same way that Axie did in 2021, you're going to see the entire space just elevate as people come in looking for the next big thing, right? Is that hype real? Probably not, right? Will we reach bubble territory? Absolutely, right? That's what happens every crypto cycle. So we should know that going in. But at this point in time, and I'm recording this in August of 2024, right? So a couple months after the halving, but hopefully, a couple months before things really start to take off in terms of the bull run that usually follows the 4-year cycle. What I'm trying to focus on here is, where do we stack up against our peers? Now, you saw from a market cap perspective, Splinterlands is tiny. Literally, Axie Infinity is 100 times bigger, right? Or the AXS token is 100 times bigger. You're looking at Gala. What is this? Maybe like 80 times bigger, right? Even Echelon Prime, which is also in the TCG space, right? Keep that in mind. I mean, this is what, 30 times bigger at least, right? Maybe 30 to 40 times bigger. And so when you have to consider all of the things that are going on, here's what it is, right? Splinterlands does not have the same team that other people do. But what they do have, and this is where I'm going to focus on, what they do have is a dedicated team, right? Even though it is a skeleton crew, a dedicated team that's been around for 6 years, over 6 years at this point, and continuing to work and flesh out the game. They have a complex ecosystem, right? That involves, some interesting tokenomics that offer the flywheel. They have a complex ecosystem for the NFTs, right? So the ability to buy, sell, rent, delegate cards, and a whole scholarship model that's already built in. It's been built in, right, for the past couple of years at this point. And you can't rule out the fact that there is actually a hardcore player base, right? A hardcore player base, and the final thing is a working game. Now, here's the thing. The difference between 2021 and today is the fact that there are a lot of other working games out there. Okay, so I don't want to like overemphasize that, but at the same time, it is a working game that a hardcore player base has continued to play for 6+ years at this point, or 5+ years, however long the game has been out in whatever iteration that it is today. But my point with all of this, right, is the fact that you have this hardcore player base there that's sticking around, that believes in the vision, and that shouldn't be enough to sell you, right? Even the team that's been around that long shouldn't be enough to sell you. But if you're using that to compare with many of the other games out there, keep in mind, one thing that Splinterlands doesn't have is money, right? They don't have the backing. They're on a much more obscure chain, right? Hive. And while, there's hope to be able to bridge out to some of the other Ethereum L2s or Solana or Polygon at some point in the future, right now it's still very secluded. Again, hopefully that will change. But the idea is that there's not as much exposure. There's not as much, money. There's not as much VC. There's not as much hype as around the other games. And at the end of the day, this is crypto. So hype is one of the only things that matters, right? Who cares about fundamentals when there's things that have hype? But all that being said, right, I'm trying to lay out the pros, I'm trying to lay out the cons, right? Splinterlands doesn't have the hype. Splinterlands doesn't have XYZ, right? They want to engage in some kind of marketing by the end of the year. But if they have, at least at the base level, a proof of concept, and I've talked about this in several videos and live streams, if they have a proof of concept, meaning that they have a working game that people love and play consistently, daily, over the past however many years that they've been a part of it. For me, it's been 3 years. And they have a working product, they have dedicated team, they have all the things that are in place to create a better experience overall. That puts them in the same boat, right? On those levels as many of the other games, right? Now, again, is an auto battler TCG ever going to compete with something like Illuvium, for example, from a gameplay perspective? No, but they're not trying to. But what I've yet to see, right, in some of these other games is a complex ecosystem, right? A complex and diverse ecosystem, right, of many different assets and the ability to try and test a bunch of different things. And I'm not saying that that's not coming. In fact, I'm excited for that to come to games like Parallel or Echelon Prime, right, that I myself play. But at this point in time, they have it, and there's certain things that they're ahead on, and there's certain things that they're behind on. So, again, this is not a perfect science. It's not even a perfect art, whatever you want to call it. My whole point is when you're looking at this purely from a market cap perspective, and if you have the thesis that gaming is going to be one of the major things that is a driving factor for the upcoming bull run, similar to what happened in 2021, but that happened with a bunch of promises, right? And a lot of those games aren't around today, right? So shout out to games like Prime and even Step-In, right? That was around back then. Illuvium, which there was no working game back in 2021. They just kind of sold people a bunch of assets, but here they are 3 years later with a pretty fantastic looking game, right? So all that being said, I'm simply looking at this from a market cap perspective, knowing that at least on the base level, the proof of concept is there, in the same way that the proof of concept is there for the other companies and the other projects. What we lack is hype, right? What we lack is hype. But I'm going to flip this for you, and probably one of the reasons why I'm bullish, right? Because we lack hype, you could look at it and say, well, maybe some of the other tokens are overinflated right now because the hype is already there. Right? Now, granted, there's levels to this, right? So hype will reach even higher levels as we get further into what will hopefully be a bull run over the next 12 months. But if they're already overinflated, then yes, they'll rise up and they'll do numbers. But it's further down on the risk curve that could get you that crazy kind of return. And this is why I go back to what the thesis of the video is, that Splinterlands is undervalued, because on the base levels, right? There are things that it is on par with for other games, and there are things that it might even be leading on other games, right? And there's certainly things that it's behind against other games and projects. But at the end of the day, right, the fundamentals are there, the proof of concept is there. That to me is one of the most important things. And then I look at this and I think to myself, man, Axie Infinity and Splinterlands were the two games that I was checking out the most in 2021. And one is literally valued 100 times the other. So You tell me where the upside is. I haven't played Axie, right? I never did. I used to watch a lot of streamers back in the day, but it was too expensive, and I figured I'd wait for a bear market, and then I just got drawn into a bunch of other things. But my whole point is that, I mean, these were the two darlings last time. I'm not saying that they're going to be the darlings this time, right? There's definitely some other interesting and awesome games that are coming out. But I'm just trying to call this out as a potential, or one of the reasons why I'm bullish, because I believe that it is undervalued compared to a lot of its peers. And maybe we're not even supposed to be at the level of an Axie Infinity. Maybe we're not even supposed to be at the level of like an Echelon Prime. But I mean, look at Prime right now, which is probably the biggest competitor because it's also in the TCG space. I mean, this thing is sitting at 300 million. I'll tell you this right now, right? Even if SPS were to be, or Splinterlands were to be 1/4 of what this is, right? 1/4 of what this is. I mean, we're talking about a $75 million market cap. That's 10x where we're at right now for SPS and Splintershards. So you tell me your thoughts. Again, I know a little bit of a bullish video here, but as we are hopefully rounding the corner into what will be a glorious 4-year cycle bull run that we've all come to know and expect and love, that is my thought on on SPS, Splinterlands, and Splintershards. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.